I'm sure many of you are aware that the Florida Maquis has a Patreon page where we do psychological operations training. We teach about things like cognitive dissonance, the endowment effect, Maslow's hierarchy, and different psychological states that people end up finding themselves in when exposed to professional psychological operations when they're unaware of it. Now, in today's video, I am going to show you one of the psyops that's used and how it's led you to believe something that is completely 180 degrees from the truth. Even those who believe that they are quote-unquote awake have fell prey to this type of psychological operation. Now, there's been a large debate in our country about healthcare, and we've seen different solutions put forth to it, mostly all bad. All of the solutions that have been put forth in this country have had to do with more government, bigger government. Well, here in Venezuela, where the PSYOP, of course, says that this is just another big socialist country, the president of this country, published 19 July 2018, made a very interesting statement. And what he basically said is this: if we want better health care in our country, we need to have the people providing the health care have the best available opportunity to give it, meaning that he is creating a forum of just doctors and nurses to get together, talk about what they need, give that to him, and then that's what will be done. Imagine that. Imagine the idea of better healthcare actually coming from the healthcare providers. But you see, this is a Spanish language website. You would have to have the forethought to go to places like Google Chrome, have it translated, and then read what was actually being said in this, oh yeah, by the way, starving, failed state that just graduated 50,000 new healthcare workers. Yeah. Anyway, that's just one example. But to give you an insight into what causes this, I'm just going to say it. It's straight up this. When men, and look, I'm a middle-aged guy, when men get exposed to simply the visual and the audio of very, very good-looking women, they end up in a mental state that prohibits them from listening to the information critically. When you add in the graphics, and then you add in the colors that they use and how they work with their advertisers, watching this source, you will believe 100% of what you're told. And that's just fact. And to prove that, this particular Fox News babe is now the #4 person at state. She's a Fox News babe. Don't know her personally. I don't have anything negative to say about her personally, other than she was a Fox News babe. A lot of these, in fact, I did a video where I showed 2 or 3 of these. You'd have to go to Patreon to see it. These people aren't journalists. When you look back into their history, there was one very, very high-profile Fox News babe that actually studied psychological operations. She didn't study journalism. She didn't study English. She didn't study broadcasting. These are trained psychological operators that just happen to be really good-looking women. And that's how they get the information across. But back to Venezuela. So we have a leader that has come out and said that to fix healthcare, we need to let people who actually do healthcare be in charge of it. We have a vice president that said locations out there in Venezuela, towns and municipalities, if you have a problem, people, you need to solve it for yourself. Government isn't your answer. Here, I did a video, I've done multiple videos, showing that the leader of this country said if the country is going to be defended, it's going to be defended by the people, and we're going to hand out weapons to them. And there's video of him doing that exact thing. Here's the one that's going to blow your mind. The leader of that country despised Barack Obama. Absolutely hated him. In fact, one of his big quotes when asked about before the current leader got elected and continued Obama's policies regarding Venezuela, he said he couldn't be worse than Obama. Literally, nothing could be worse, he said, than Barack Obama. This guy has told Big Oil to go shove it, get out of his country, and stop robbing his people. Don't hear anybody in America doing that. He also threw out the DEA and the CIA out of his country. And it's strange how you hear of places like the Cali cartel, and you hear of the Medellin cartel, and you hear about Bogota is pretty much synonymous with the trade, the cocaine trade, and that's what Colombia is known for. You don't hear about the Maracaibo cartel. You don't hear about the Caracas cartel, do you? Yeah, that's because here they string up drug dealers and kill them. Real quick. It's not even close. The difference between these two countries in that respect. But what does the mainstream media tell you? What do these psychological operators want you to believe? What they want you to believe, and pardon while this is loading, it was loaded when I left the tab, but what they want you to believe is that this country over here on the right, Venezuela, is the home of a huge, terrible, horrible dictator that we need to throw troops into this country and depose. And this one over here on the left, the recipient of $500 million a year in U.S. aid. And for our trouble, we get nothing but a massive amount of cocaine, all sorts of other drugs thrown right back at us. Violence, paramilitaries, corruption, kidnappings, all sorts of other heinous crap. This one over here, no U.S. money. Never needed U.S. money. Richest country in South America. At one time, until the U.S. decided, with the help of the big oil companies and their buddies in OPEC, Saudi Arabia, to take it down. But even then it didn't work. Because still, to this day, the U.S. still is importing Venezuelan oil and won't stop importing Venezuelan oil because it would absolutely destroy the price of gas. They don't tell you this. But all you have to do is watch Fox News for one day because the girls are pretty and you'll believe it. All the lies. And that's it. And it's just that simple. And I know that seems like it should be too simple, but that's it. They know how to put out the information. They know how to manipulate the information. And that's that. And I'm like, oh, why aren't you talking about CNN? Because I don't remember CNN saying we should invade Venezuela. I don't remember CNN promoting the idea of invading Venezuela for any reason. Not that I'm a giant fan of CNN, but we're going to stick with the topic we're talking about. And that's this. Psychological operations that will literally make you believe one thing when I've shown you 6 different points that can prove what you're being told is absolutely false. We have a country that is trying to promote its people as a solution to its problems. Not only in the healthcare industry, but in all industries and problems. They hand out weapons. While your country, by the way, is trying to think up all sorts of ways to take away your weapons. They didn't like this guy. They've told Big Oil to go shove it. And the CIA and the DEA would love nothing more than to get rid of this guy. That alone should tell you everything you need to know about who's on the right side and who's on the wrong side. So if this video hasn't done it, I don't know what more will. I really don't. Because it's coming. It's coming. 7 August. That's the date you need to remember. That's when Duque takes power in Colombia. And there's already been indications in the U.S. that assets are being moved down to Louisiana to support this, and more than likely Panama will be involved as well. So we will leave it there. 10 minutes. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you.